Most people don't fail because they're lazy. They don't fail because they lack intelligence. They don't fail because of bad luck. They fail because they violate a law they never even knew existed. A law that governs wealth just as surely as gravity governs motion. A law that doesn't care how hard you work, only how aligned your mind is. You see, there is a reason the rich get richer and the poor stay stuck. It has nothing to do with privilege or politics, and everything to do with this law. This law is simple, but most people ignore it. And by ignoring it, they stay poor. Forever. They work harder. They set goals. They chase opportunity. And still nothing changes. Why? Because they never fix the one thing that creates every result in their life. Their dominant mental attitude. Napoleon Hill didn't just interview successful men. He decoded the pattern that shaped them. And what he discovered was this: there is a law which fixes the exact results of every human thought. Wealth, health, and happiness come only to those who have prepared their minds to receive them. In other words, you don't attract what you attract what you are. You don't get rich by effort alone. You get rich by law. Mental law. And today, we're going to break that law wide open. Because once you understand it, really understand it, you'll never operate the same way again. The law is this: your dominant thoughts, feelings, and beliefs become your reality. Not the thoughts you visit once in a while. Not the affirmations you whisper without emotion, but the ideas you obsess over, the images you hold in your mind, the internal identity you carry with you all day long. That's what governs your outcome. Hill called this the law of attraction long before the phrase became popular. But he didn't teach it as wishful thinking. He taught it as mental conditioning. Think thoughts of scarcity long enough, and you begin to act scarce. Think like a victim, and you attract situations that reinforce that identity. But the moment you flip that internal pattern, everything changes. Why? Because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's repeated. Feed it fear. It will organize your life around avoiding risk. Feed it belief. It will organize your life around seizing opportunity. It is the silent architect of your future. And most people ignore it completely. They say they want success, but they speak failure. They visualize rejection. They feel undeserving. They prepare more for disappointment than victory. And then they wonder why nothing changes. Let me be clear. You can have the best plan in the world. You can read every strategy book ever written. But if your mind is tuned to the wrong frequency, none of it will work. Because the law doesn't respond to effort. It responds to belief. This is why Napoleon Hill placed definiteness of purpose at the top of every principle. Because a wandering mind creates a wandering life. But a focused, dominant mental pattern, a mind that holds its aim with intensity, bends reality to match it. This is the mechanism. This is the law. And now it's yours to use or ignore. Let's bring this to life. Andrew Carnegie didn't become the richest man in America by chance. He used his mind as a weapon. He practiced mental focus like a religion. He trained every executive in his company to visualize success, speak powerfully, and act from belief, not reaction. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. But his mind was never focused on failure. He said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's not just resilience, it's mental law in action. Henry Ford was laughed at by his own engineers when he demanded the V8 engine. They told him it was impossible. He told them, build it anyway. He held the vision. And eventually reality caught up. These men weren't just dreamers. They were masters of their dominant mental attitude. And that made them masters. Results. So I ask you now, what law are you living under? Are you living by the law of belief or the law of doubt? Are you affirming your vision or rehearsing your fears? Are you aligned with wealth or resisting it at every turn? Because the universe is always responding to you, not your effort, not your potential, your mindset. So what can you do starting tomorrow? Here's the process Hill taught and lived. Write down your definite chief aim. Be specific. Be bold. Be emotional. Read it aloud twice a day, morning and night. Do it with energy, with certainty, with fire. Visualize yourself already living it. Feel the emotions. See the results. Embody the identity. Speak and act in alignment with that vision all day. Make decisions from your future, not your past. This is not fantasy. It's how the mind creates alignment, and alignment creates results. But most people skip this. They say it's too basic, too slow, too boring, and so they stay poor. They chase shiny objects. They jump from idea to idea. They measure their growth by noise, not by inner transformation. But you, if you're hearing this, you're not like most people. You are ready to install the law. You are ready to live in alignment. You are ready to become the kind of person that wealth has no choice but to follow. So start tomorrow. Start today. You don't need to earn wealth. You need to become the person who doesn't block it anymore. Because when your dominant mental attitude is wealth, wealth becomes the natural result. When your dominant mental attitude is confidence, opportunity knocks. When your dominant mental attitude is purpose, the world gets out of your way. Most people ignore this law. You won't, and that's why you won't stay poor. That's why you'll rise. That's why your future will look nothing like your past. But let me leave you with this. If you're not programming your mind, the world is. And the world will program you to play small, think small, and settle for crumbs. The mind is a garden. If you don't plant seeds of wealth, weeds of lack will grow by default. So you must become ruthless with your thoughts, relentless with your focus, unapologetic with your vision. Wealth doesn't belong to the lucky. It belongs to the mentally prepared. Every time you affirm your purpose, you strengthen your magnet. Every time you act in alignment, you send a signal to the universe. And every time you refuse to think small, you rise beyond the patterns that hold others down. You don't need another strategy. You need identity. And identity comes from repetition. So repeat this truth. I was not born to struggle. I was born to create. I don't chase wealth. I attract it through alignment. I think like a millionaire long before I have the millions. Because wealth doesn't come to the needy. It comes to the certain. Say that. Live that. Become that. If this message shifted something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to this channel now and turn on notifications so you never miss your next step. Share this with someone you care about, someone who's stuck in effort and ready for alignment. Because wealth doesn't come from working harder. It comes from thinking better. And the moment you install this law, you become unstoppable.